Good morning, everyone, and welcome again to AI in 15, day 12. Um, Past the halfway point, getting there. And this is where we do one thing every morning with AI, so we can start the new year kind of ahead of the pack. Um, I am your host, Matthew Kershaw, 20 plus years in content marketing and digital media, 6 years in the AI space, and I help companies teach their people how to use AI practically and safely, and build a roadmap towards better quality, uh, faster speed, and reduced cost for their production. So we have a very, very special guest today, Yang Wong. Yang I worked with at Iris, and he was one of the earliest people in the agency into AI. So we've often talked about it, and he's got a really, really interesting workflow for to scale image production, which I thought we would share. He would be able to share with you today. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and hand you over to Yang.
Great. Thanks, Matthew. Thanks for everyone coming. So my name is Yang Wong. I'm an innovation director focused on creative tech and AI. So like Matthew, I also help people, teams, and companies understand, adopt, and implement tech and AI. From a making point of view, I have a deep technical expertise leading and building digital things. So from products, sites, games, Roblox experiences, tools, and workflows. I'm a full stack coder and tech lead, often leading cross-discipline teams due to a wider secondary skill set in creative product and interaction design. So bit of design, bit of creative, bit of tech, but a deeper tech. So that's my T shape. I've primarily worked and collaborated with agencies and studios, but also startups, governments, and artists, both permanent as 4 year and for years as a freelancer and consultant. So some of the brands I worked for, Amazon, Samsung, Pizza Hut, Adidas, Elton John, which was really nice. Ex-Iris, quite new to the freelance world. Again, I was a freelancer for a long time, but yeah. So let's get the session on the road. So today I'm just gonna walk you through like a quite reasonably simple workflow for scaling image production. Um, I'm gonna take a leaf from Matthew's new product that he's gonna spruik next year probably. So I've created a new product called Tesco Bath Wine to go with your Tesco Bath crisps from previous sessions. The brief is really basic. It's just create as many static display ads concepts as possible in 15 minutes. The reason why is because someone forgot to brief it in, and we have a client meeting in 15 minutes. So this is a bath 4K image of Tesco bath wine. I spent way too long making this in AI, but yeah, hopefully it looks delicious. Um, and as a last minute change request for this brief, I'm going to use only Google products off the shelf. So hopefully that will be useful to everyone. And I think when it comes to ideation time, you have no time, you have 15 minutes, you're trying to come up with some static display ad ideas with this product. So you're like, okay, household, what do I do? You can go straight into Gemini and just basically prompt some ideas. I'm going to walk you through using a Google Sheet, which I think is quite an interesting way of doing things. So for those of you not aware, you can use Gemini in Google Sheets now if you have a paid account, which is amazing. Basically, what that means is that you can uh, ask Gemini to basically create tables for you and do things for you, which is pretty amazing. So in this case, what I'm going to do is basically going to create a 25 row table with three columns. The first column is like location, so a random indoor room within the house. Description, a very short description of how the location specified in column A could be disrupted due to typical single, couple, or family life. Then the third column will be ad copy, just very short and fun ad copy slogan based in column A and B combined. So what I'll do is I'll quickly go to the actual spreadsheet just so you can actually see it. I'll close this. So for those of you who haven't used Gemini, I'm just going to copy this prompt first. Up here, Gemini, you can go create a table. Over here on the right-hand side, you can kind of see basically a prompt. What you can do is you just prompt that into existence, and a couple of seconds later, what's really great is you basically get a table full of data, which is pretty amazing. And you go, okay, great, I love that. Let's insert it into my spreadsheet. So now you have essentially a start of of your kind of ideation phase. And what's really great about this is that it's a spreadsheet, right? So you can just update it however you want manually. What's also really cool is, I'm not sure if you've seen it, but so what's really great about this particular one is you can actually do a equals AI formula. So the idea is that if you do equals AI, you can actually write a prompt straight into the cell, and it will essentially create values within that cell itself. So just for an example of this, let's say I didn't like that particular description. What I can do is, okay, I'm going to create a prompt, which is equals AI, a very new short description of how location specified column A, blah, 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 blah. And what you do is that when you set that, you can see it's actually essentially generating a value. So now the pantry is a child searched for snacks and left the cabinet door ajar. And you go, I don't like that. Just keep refreshing it. So you go, another one. Okay. Now it's a different one, basically. The bread machine was left out on the counter. So what's really cool is that you can just copy that and paste it for all the other rows within that column, which is great. So you can just watch it basically figure stuff out, which is pretty wild, really amazing. And you don't like that, you just basically refresh and insert, like essentially refresh the entire column again, which is really great, really handy, really quick way of coming up ideating with ideas in a structured way. And same with the ad copy too. So obviously the ad copy now is now not as relevant as what it used to be. So you can basically just go back, grab a prompt. So this one's once again a very short copy for appropriate for this. And yeah, so now you can kind of do that, take a sweet breather and just basically paste it onto the others. So yeah, it's just really nice, easy way, really structured way of creating data. So rather than, creating a Word doc or creating it within a chat prompt itself, you can kind of just use, spreadsheets, which we all, know and love. I think what's really cool about this is that you go, okay, well, I've now got my data. I now want to get into visual exploration. And this is when we start to basically get into Gemini. So get into Gemini, I'm going to use Nano Banana Pro. So make sure that everything's in thinking and create image mode. And then just the idea is that we now want to basically feed the Google Sheet data into Gemini so that we can use that data to create images. Something to point out is if you haven't done it before for the first time, Google will ask you to connect your Google Workspace with Gemini, basically consent, just so that Google can actually access your docs. So this is the kind of screen that will come up. Depending on what kind of workspace paid account you've got, it will differ, but essentially it's really straightforward. You just click connect. Once you hit this for the first time, you don't have to do it ever again. So it's quite easy to get that connected. So this is basically the prompt reading from the Google Sheet that just created from sheet one and output as a table. So you can kind of see the data within is now loaded within the chat, which is amazing. And you go, okay, now I've got this chat. I'm going to grab the 4K wine bottle image that I created earlier, add that as part of the prompt. And then the prompt I'm going to say, analyze the input images as aesthetic style, mood, and camera shot type. This style, mood, and camera shot type must be maintained in any new image. Create a new image by adding the wine bottle from the input image to a random location from original data. The location is in the state as per description from original data. So you get stuff like this, right? So it's a really good image. It uses the data that you've already created and curated and vetted. Quite straightforward, quite nice. But of course, it's one at a time. You are getting a bit faster. You're not writing the prompt every single time. You're just saying, give me another one, give me another one, give me another one. Let's ramp it up. And this is where we look into this kind of relatively new style of prompting, maybe in the last couple of weeks, called contact sheet prompting. So basically, what it is the same kind of idea. You put input an image, you write a prompt, but the new image that you create is actually a 3 by 3 contact sheet consisting of 9 frames. So basically, a grid of images within the same image. And basically, what that means is that when you start doing this, you can start creating 9 images at a time, right? So this allows you to basically 9x your image concept creation. And this is also pulling data from that spreadsheet. So what you'll see is like, good examples of this. Look, I've got like, yeah, different kinds of household environments. And basically all you keep saying is, okay, so you go, just give me another set, give me another set, give me another set. And it gives you stuff like this. So instead of spending 20 seconds per image, you're now spending 20 seconds for every 9 images, which is just a massive, massive time saving. And it's quite handy. I like that one, but like, I like that specific one on the right. Can I see some variations? Once again, same kind of concept. You just literally take a screenshot of that small square. It's like a low res image, like 700 by 700 usually. And you can just paste it in. And then you go create a 3 by 3 context sheet once again, because it's in 9 frames, where it's a variation of that one image. And now you get variations of that image, right? So you're like, okay, great. So now I've got some different ideas, different kind of compositions for that particular image. And you can see some of the bottles have changed now, and this one's actually got a bit more artistic. But I think with this, it doesn't really matter because what you want to do is then you can just upscale these images, right? Because at the moment they're quite low res. So you want to scale it up. Same thing, just take a screenshot, grab the first image with the 4K image of the input, and basically say upscale the first image input using the wine bottle for the second input image. And basically you get something like this, right? So what you have here is that's a 770. You can see like you can't really see the wine bottle. This is a bit blurry. On the right is a 2K image. Really nice. You can see it's quite clear on the label. It's yeah, really, really nice. So it's one of those things where just because you have a low res 3 by 3 contact sheet image doesn't mean you can't upscale it when you need to put in the deck. So how about that copy that we originally created in that spreadsheet? So what you can do is, oh, I really love that backpack 4-year image. Let's, create 20 versions of the ad copy, put it on top, see what it looks like. Same concept in the spreadsheet, load it in. And your actual prompt is create a 3 with 3 contact sheet. Each frame's input image different ad copy, as if it's a display ad. The ad copy is taken straight from the original data, and the ad copy is clear white text and handwritten serif font and positioned so that it doesn't cover the wine bottle. So like you would expect for display ad. And now you've got, 9 versions, there's 9 of these concepts. It's just a really nice way of quickly visualizing and concepting basically a static display ad. And once again, it's one of those cases where you can just, go to a previously done one. You can just give me more, give me more, give me more. Just really, really nice kind of way of doing it. And it just saves a lot of time. It just allows you to concept things and curate the kind of concepts that you want to be able to show people. And you're saying, well, can we just do it all at once? I'm like, yep, let's just do everything everywhere all at once. Just combine the 2 prompts together. So basically, a different location, a different ad copy, and what you'll get is different locations, different ad copy pulled from your spreadsheet, which is really great. And once again, you can kind of see variations of this within here. Different locations, different ad copy. So it's just like a nice, really quick, really efficient way of ideating. And you know, you got text, it's low res. You're like, can I upscale text these days? It used to be not very good. It used to be quite bad actually, until quite recently, maybe a couple of months. Now even the text is like straight on. So on the left, it's like a 400 by 400 image, which is like tiny, it's like a thumbnail. On the right is the 2K image straight from that prompt. So you can see you can really get really kind of very, very high quality stuff. So that's kind of a really nice, hopefully quite straightforward workflow. But let's say you just want to keep going, you want to keep ramping it up. So what you can do, I'm not sure those of you aware, there's a program called Google Flow. Google is out of the box on the web. You can access it for free as long as you got like a Google account. It's made for creating videos, but actually has an image creation option too, which is great. So we're going to abuse that essentially. And what's great about Google Flow is you can create 4 images at a time, which is amazing. So basically, you can now use the same prompting style with the same data that you've looped in with the same input image, and you can now pump out 4 of these contact sheets. So now we've gone from like 1 to 9 to 36 at a time, which is pretty wild. It just allows you to iterate so much faster. This has got landscape mode. They also have portrait, so it's good for socials. And once again, just grab a screenshot of the ones that you like, you upscale them. And, hopefully that gives you kind of an idea of a workflow you can use out of the box straight up. You don't have to code anything. You can just basically follow the same steps that I just went through. But you can see that how this is kind of a pathway to really scaling up production as well, not just concepting. Instead of a Google Sheet, you can do live data feeds. Instead of 36 at a time, you can actually code it using Google's APIs to do like 1,000 at a time. I don't know what sane person would do that because you need to curate it, but you can do it. And then instead of refining and upscaling one at a time using Gemini, you can now do it 100 times at a time. So this is kind of where it's going, or where it's gone basically. And this is something you can do with just a little bit of code to kind of scale up your workflows. So yeah, that's that. Hopefully that was helpful.
That's amazing, Yang. I think I had a quick question, which was just about font. You can't control the font that it uses, right? You can just say whether it's serif or not serif. You can't
You can
specify a
ask,
font.
you can ask, and see what happens.
Okay.
You can
Um,
also add logos as well over the top as well. You can always ask, you can always try stuff and see what happens.
great.
But yeah, it does actually understand a fair few things.
That was super interesting. I think it was quite a lot. Probably if this is a world you're not used to, that might be quite a lot. What I would urge everyone to do if in that case is watch go back later. The video will be up sort of later this afternoon. Go back and just, you can pause it and watch step by step, but it is a very, very clean and simple workflow once you kind of wrap your head around it. So thank you so much for that. Um, just to finish out, were there any questions there from anyone else? Go, please.
Could you build in rules around the types of images, situations for concepts? For example, alcohol. There are many rules about what can and can't show with wine, such as
Yep.
your snuff bag.
Yeah, but basically you can build those rules into your prompt. So 100% you can. Yep. You can also do things like feed in tone of voice documents and feed in legal documents that will help also shape the content. And obviously within Google Sheets as well, you can also curate beyond that as well, just manually. So
Great. Tomorrow we are going to be testing ideas with synthetic users. This is using AI doubles to research new products, ideas, strategies. And we've got Connor Comerford from Qualtrics come and show us how to do that. So that's going to be a really, really interesting session. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow. Don't forget, tell your friends, wolf.co/sign up. That's wolf with two O's .co/sign up. See you tomorrow. Thanks again, Yang. Very, 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 really, really interesting session.
no worries.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Thanks.
Thanks,
Bye.
Martin.